What's up, everybody? Matt Kajeski here, back again with the Odd Shopper channel. And today, here to talk about some college football betting ahead of week 3, the Saturday slate. Before we get started, make sure to hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you know when this and all other content goes live. We're brought to you by Caesars Sportsbook. They have an offer for you guys, new users, and it is going away soon. Before it does, make sure you take advantage of this. It is just a bankroll booster if I've ever seen one. New users can bet $50 and you will get $250 in the form of free bets. You'll get one $50 free bet as soon as that first wager settles. Then you'll get 4 more each of the subsequent weeks. Those need to be used within 7 days of issuance. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, please call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. All right. So this is my second Saturday video. My goal with this is to hit the best of the rest, if you will. Myself and Ben Raza, we do Betting You every Wednesday where we talk the premier betting card for the slate. Just a couple highlights. Our favorite bets included Missouri plus 5.5. We took the over on Colorado State at 59.5. We took West Virginia plus 1 against Pittsburgh. Those have all moved. And if you want to get the full breakdown for those bets, head over to Betting You and make sure you check that out on Wednesdays. We try to get that out as early as possible so we can get ahead of the lines. But my goal with this one is for you deep divers. I bet more games than what we talk about on Betting You, and we're here to talk about the best of the rest. So without further ado, let's dive in. A couple games I want to touch on that I've already bet. First and foremost, Arizona State, Fresno State. Arizona State is a home Pac-12 team, and they are +3. I think by the time kickoff rolls around, this rolls through 2.5. Maybe it gets to 2. But this is a team that had opportunities to beat Oklahoma State last week. Those of you that watched that game were probably just as frustrated as I was. You see Arizona State around midfield, the ball, they've got a 4th down in potentially going into scoring position. 4th and 1. Instead of just quarterback sneaking the ball with Jaden Rashada, a highly mobile signal caller, they're in shotgun. Anyway, these are just frustrations from myself. Fresno State's a completely rebuilt team here. Mikey Keene's under center. The defense lost essentially all of their main production. They're outside the top 100 in total defense, 109th. They're 114th in coverage, 91st against the run. That should open up room for Skatibo at running back. The receivers haven't been fully healthy this year. Now you should get Badger, Sanders, Conyers all healthy. For Jaden Rashada under center. And if things go poorly, Drew Pine's finally healthy for this team too. I think 3 is the right number. 2.5, I don't have as much interest. But we're going to back the Sun Devils again and just hope that Dillingham and company don't put these weird 4th down plays where you actually making yourself cover 4 yards instead of 1. Just sneak the ball, please, especially if you have a mobile quarterback. Next one up. We are going to a weird game here. Liberty takes on Buffalo as a 3-point favorite. Again, I like this line at 3. I would not play 3.5. I think these numbers are very key in some of these games with low margins. But Liberty, I think, is the better team here. They were co-favorites in Conference USA. And if you've been following me for any length of time this offseason, you know I'm not a huge Buffalo fan. They had a pretty good showing against Wisconsin. I think that's more Wisconsin's fault than anyone else's. Not Graham Mertz. Tanner Mordecai had 2 turnovers in that game, and they were not pretty. He also had a bomb that he threw, I believe it was into the hands of Chimere Dike, or it could have been Skylar Bell. I forget the exact receiver. But anyway, I mean, we're talking about a 60-yard bomb right in the breadbasket the receiver dropped. That game easily could have been wider than the margin of victory indicated. Buffalo moved the ball decently in the first half, but as soon as Wisconsin got a read on them, could not move the ball at all. Their quarterback is Cole Snyder. I don't think that highly of him. He's more of a game manager. And Liberty actually has a solid signal caller. You've got Caden Salter, former Tennessee recruit, former 4-star, got kicked off the team. He's now under Jamie Chadwell, and they're running an offense similar to what you saw from Coastal Carolina last year. They're a team that has pretty good players just from the Hugh Freeze leftovers. I'm surprised this is only 3 points, and I think it is honestly very generous here for Liberty. So we'll back the Flames at -3. Another one here is Tulane. I'm anticipating Pratt playing. And honestly, even if he doesn't play, I'm still interested in this team because of Horton. We talked about this one on Betting You a little bit here, so I just wanted to touch on it here against Southern Miss. I'm not a fan of what Southern Miss is doing. Wiles under center. They're actually passing over 50% of the time. They've got Frank Gore Jr. in a timeshare with Rodriguez Clark. I mean, this is kind of brutal. I'm not a big fan of this Southern Miss team, so we'll be back in Tulane. Through 14, I think, is completely fine. To get to another game we haven't touched on yet this week, North Texas, Louisiana Tech, under 69. This is one that might be a little surprising to you guys because the under took a ton of money right away. Now it's steamed right back to where it started. I've got a lot of questions with these teams. We know North Texas wants to play fast. They're 30th in seconds per play. Louisiana Tech's not that fast. They're 76th in seconds per play so far this year. Both these teams seem to want to pass more. I mean, North Texas has the new coaching staff. They should run the ball. They've got a ton of returning backs who are pretty good, but they're trying to pass 48% of the time. And then Louisiana Tech runs a pseudo air raid. They have a 58% pass rate. All those things line up towards the over, right? Well, first of all, pace with Louisiana Tech outside the top 70, that's an issue. And then both these teams have horrific offensive efficiency. Like, yeah, you play fast, but you're an awful offense. Right now, North Texas is 128th in total offense. Louisiana Tech is 99th. You basically have two offenses that are right around the top 100 and outside of it versus two defenses which have been pretty good. Like North Texas's defense is 20th in efficiency so far this year. This is schedule adjusted. So, I mean, there's going to be some noise in this so far. But Louisiana Tech's 38th. And I mean, once these teams face better competition or at least more of it, I think there's going to be cracks. But right away, what I'm trying to say is these defenses are better than the offenses on the other side. No, I don't think North Texas is actually a top 20 defense when it's all said and done. But their defense is the strength of their team, and the same can be said for Louisiana Tech. Whereas the offenses for both these teams have been incredibly inefficient. With a total up at 69 points in some places, you have no room for error. You get 2 punts in this game, it's not coming through. So we'll back the under North Texas, Louisiana Tech, two really bad offenses facing each other in what could be an ugly game. But, you know, ugly games need bets too. If you watch the Ohio FAU game, you know what I'm... All right, a couple more that I took here. I laid the points with Kentucky against Akron. We've had Kentucky a couple times this year. They covered in week 1 on a miraculous last-second play. And I took the over in their last game, which I believe didn't come in. I could be wrong on that. But anyway, going to this spot, Akron, bottom feeder in the MAC. They lost to Temple 24-21. They beat Morgan State barely 24-21, and it took some shenanigans for Akron to actually get that. Their defense had to come through. They had a fumble recovery, which ended up helping them get the win. Kentucky hasn't really been tested. They crushed Ball State. They beat Eastern Kentucky in a game that was closer than it should have been. But this offense is not taking their foot off the gas. They're 55th in pace. They're passing 61.5% of the time. And they're just ironing out a ton of new stuff. Liam Cohn is back. He coordinated this offense in 2021. But he also has a new signal caller in Devin Leary. He's trying to build rapport with these 3 receivers. Ray Davis is a new running back. Like, there's just a ton of new pieces for an offense which is playing fast and playing pass heavy and has the chance to be explosive here. Akron's defense doesn't really scare me. Their efficiency metrics look pretty good, but let me know how they look against a real opponent who's not Temple or Morgan State. So I laid the points here. Kentucky, we also have early indications that they're willing to run up scores. I mean, against Ball State, they had Ray Davis and Leary in on the last play of the game. That's how they actually covered the spread. Ray Davis had a monstrous long run when the game was out of hand. It was like 38-14 or something, and then he breaks off a 60-yard touchdown. Kentucky's ironing things out. They're not showing mercy to these teams. We'll back the Wildcats here. A couple more to talk about. All right, we're in the area where I haven't taken these, but if your card is going deeper, I would play these, and I still might here. Some of them are big games too, so I want to at least talk about them. Georgia, South Carolina. The real thing I want to talk about here is Georgia's only had 2 defenders play 50% of the snaps, and they've had players out too, like Vlad McConkey hasn't played. Marcus Rosemy-Jacksaint missed game 1. Dewan Edwards has missed time. What does this Georgia team look like at full strength? And it's terrifying to me. South Carolina got absolutely bullied, gave up 9 sacks to North Carolina. Georgia's pass rush is better. They cannot block. South Carolina lost 2 NFL corners, a couple good edges. Georgia can run or pass on them. Like, I think I'm going to lay the points here with Georgia at 27.5. This is an SEC game. I mean, they've taken their foot off the gas in the past, but this might not be that spot, and I hesitate because they're still 27.5 point favorites. Anyway, we roll on. San Jose State, Toledo. I think I'm going to take San Jose State on the money line here. And I haven't taken this yet because I just missed the best number. You could have got a +9 early in the week. San Jose State, a quality Mountain West team facing Toledo, who's shown some cracks. And I like San Jose State. They have a quality signal caller in Chevan Cordero. Toledo, they're a solid team in the MAC, but this is a team which I love to fade as big favorites here. Toledo played Illinois close. I don't think that really shows too much here. There's cracks with this team. They're 116th in run blocking so far this year. Their offense is 73rd in total efficiency. San Jose State doesn't exactly scare me on defense, but again, I think this game has two teams which are closer to each other in power ratings than the overall spread indicates as a -7 towards Toledo's direction. Georgia Tech takes on Ole Miss. This is a fun game. Georgia Tech surprised some people with how good they've looked so far this year. They hung with Louisville and arguably should have won that game. They lost 39-34. They've got the new look offense, and it's actually played pretty good here. Haynes King has been solid. He has a 9.5 yards per attempt, 65% completion. The offensive line has kept him relatively clean, only 19% pressure rate for him, which I think is solid. He can run a little bit. And he's got receivers. They're not going to have Chase Lane here, but they're pretty deep. You've got Rutherford, Leary, some pretty decent transfers that came in this offseason. So they can play with most teams. Ole Miss on the other side let a Michael Pratt Liz Tulane hang around with them. And I like this Ole Miss team a ton. I think they're going to be a very good SEC team. They have a ton of injuries right now. You don't have Zachary Franklin. You don't have Prescorn. Trey Harris got hurt almost immediately in their last game. Quad Davis is injured. A lot of injuries for Tulane. This is a team I'm going to back, but they're very banged up right now, and they need to get healthy in favor of conference play over this non-conference. And I still think they can win. They can run the ball. They can win through Judkins. You still have some quality receivers like Jalen Knox is going to be asked to play a lot here. You still have Watkins for this team. All I'm trying to say is I think Georgia Tech can cover the spread. I don't think they're going to win. I wouldn't play them on the money line. You're still getting a decent number here. You could have got like 20 earlier in the week, 19. So it's come down quite a bit, 17.5, but you're still hovering around that key number. 17 is where I would not play this. Last one we'll talk about here is Arizona UTEP. UTEP, the laughingstock of Conference USA, lost to Jacksonville State by their own doing, got slaughtered by Northwestern. An unbelievably bad team here. Arizona has played well. Arizona moved the ball extremely well against Mississippi State. They should have won that game, and I think they would have if Jaden Delora could just control himself with the turnovers a little bit. This is a offense that is very different from some of the offenses UTEP has faced this year, especially like a Jacksonville State. Arizona has quality players, 4-star receivers. Cowing is awesome. It's a little revenge spot for him. And you've got like Ted McMillan, 4-star. You have McLaughlin at tight end. Like this is a very good pass game for Arizona. All you need is Jaden Delora to take care of the ball. And when I look at what UTEP has on defense, they do not scare me whatsoever. This UTEP team has been a disaster. And currently, they're outside the top 80 in coverage. So cross your fingers. Jaden Delora, no interceptions. This is one I'm probably going to play as well. Just haven't pulled the trigger quite yet. All right, that is the best of the rest. Make sure you check out Betting U for the full betting breakdown on some of those premier games. Tried to highlight the ones I like the most at the beginning of the show, but full breakdowns are available. If you have a comment or there's a game I missed and you want to know something about it, leave a comment or reach out to me on Twitter at Matt_Kajeski. Otherwise, we'll be back again next week doing all things college football. If there's a game on a certain day, you better believe we're talking about it. Until next time, good luck, everyone. We'll see you later.